morning and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mal, known as the Veg Block Man, and we're back for another episode of what I'm getting up to on the allotment this week. And before I do anything, I'm going to fill up the kettle and have a brew. Got a number of things to do today, and thankfully today these are more horticultural. You normally see me fixing this, fixing that, mending this, doing that. We're back onto the horticultural stuff now at this time of year, so I'm really relieved at that. There are still some jobs to do. I've still got 2 brassica cages to make. I've still the fire to put in. You would like to hear, I've done the guttering, and I'll show you that later, but what a palaver that was. But before I do anything, I'm going to have this brew. Right, now that I've got that brew out of the way, we can get down to business. So I've been sowing like crazy through this week, and I'll probably give you an update on where we are with what I've sowed and what situation they're in at the minute, probably on the midweek video. But today, the first thing I'm going to do is we've got to get those parsnips in. Now, I checked them a couple of days ago and they had really taken off. So what I didn't want them to do was to get leggy, so I popped them into this propagator, and well, they were leggy already, but I didn't want to get any worse. Popped them into this propagator, into the light, so now you can see there's a really good germination rate there. So the bed's prepped, these are ready to go, so let's crack on to the next stage and let's get these planted out and covered over. So as you can see, this bed's been prepped and I've made 20 holes with my trusty dibber, and the bed's nice and damp. I did that last night and covered it over, so it shouldn't be, I did that yesterday morning, so it shouldn't be too bad. So now it's a case of transplanting them. Right, so here I've got my trusty little spoon, but before I do all, let me put my glasses on. I'll be able to see. Right, I've got my spoon, as I say. Now all I'm going to do is just go down and scoop up a seedling like so, and then all I'm going to do is pop it in the hole like that. You can see that there. I'll give you a closer look afterwards, and then just simply gently cover them over. That's one transplanted. Let's get another one. So again, you can get a fair size piece of the root on there, and then just drop a bit more soil in there, drop that in, give it a touch down, cover it over. I've done it like this since my father-in-law told me, and it's worked for me all this time. Now, I do a second sowing, and sometimes I just to save time, I will sow direct. And there we go. I just have to lift that up very gently, cover it over, and I'll sow direct. But just for time's sake, but my first sowing always goes in like this. Get another one there, look, and we'll drop it in this one. There we go. Drops down nice into the hole and just cover it nice and gentle. Right, okay, I'll crack on getting these done. Once I've finished, I'll bring you in for a closer look. Listen to that bird song. It's a lovely morning. Right, so there we have 20 parsnips transplanted. You can just see the little green tips showing. And I'll keep an eye on those now for the next few days. And what I've done is, if you look down here in the tray, there are still some that are only just sprouting. Right, there's just one there though. So I'm going to leave those in, because what that'll allow is, if I get any failures on here, then I can always resort back to these. But what I won't do is I won't be covering them up, putting them in the bag. They'll stay in the propagator on the top so that they don't get too leggy. So that's the first lot of parsnips in. Super. It does feel like the season's upon us now. Right, on to the next job. But before we do that, let's just get it covered over. I'm going to devise a better lid than this. So what I'll do now is I'll keep an eye on those. And like I say, they've got about so much before they actually touch this plastic. So when nearly April, they'll live under there for the next sort of 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then we should be frost free, and that'll come off and they'll grow away. Right, the next job is to get these lilies that Ali bought me from the Rusty Garden into my mother-in-law's memorial bed, if you like. As you can see, these are already shooting, ready to go. And the good thing about buying or getting bulbs like this, rather than buying the plant from the garden nursery, the already established plant from the garden nursery, is that you can just give it a little clean off and just make sure that there are no eggs on there, and you're not bringing in any lily beetle. So I'm thinking of just having them dotted in and around here. So I'm thinking of planting 3 in a circle in between these 2 trees here. So I'm going to bob one right there, maybe one a bit further over there, and one there. And that is the apricot star, and we have the labels. He's a clever boy. Right, and the next one, the honeymoon. Shake them off. These are not as established as those ones. There we go. And I think these are going to look absolutely spot on in this bed. So I'm going to put these right in the middle of here. So one maybe there, one quite close up to these gaps there, and one there. So as you can see, 3 just there, and 3 just in there, and I think that'll look really nice. Let's get them planted. Right, there's my trowel. They say you're normally supposed to sort of plant them twice with a depth. So I'll go down away, that one in. There we go. So folks, have you been getting decent weather? This last week for us has been quite good. The soil is certainly warming, and hopefully it continues in that vein and we get a good season, because this time last year we were very wet and very cold. Here we go. Bob that there, and I know in and around that area is the lily. Same again here. As I mentioned, I've got the guttering on the log store put up, and what a palaver it was. I had to give it a little bit of thinking about, because the log stores are on two different levels. This side's higher, lower than that side. That side's higher, and the IBC is down at that end. So it were a right palaver, I tell you. But we got there in the end, and I'll show you it. Let's get that in there. Get them covered over. There we go. And I know just to be careful when I'm hoeing around those signs, just watching for the emerging shoots. Right. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sow the first row of my Autumn King carrots. So I'm just going to nip up, get the hoe, give it a hoe off, mix it in, get any weeds out, and then off we go. Daft as it is, I weeded this the other day. Still there, still coming up. I normally get about 3 rows in this bed, and as I've said before, when I sow the carrots and I'm harvesting them, I never bother to thin them out. Just leave them where they are, and I get some small ones, but I get some decent sized ones. And to be fair, that's what you want from a veg, don't you? Sometimes you want small carrots, sometimes you want some bigger ones. So I never thin out, and some say it's bad horticultural practice, but it's worked for me for 8 years. So until it stops working, I'm going to carry on. Just mix this sand in a little bit better. I think pick out any stones. There shouldn't be many in here because I've used this same soil, just added sand and topsoil to it year on year. Right, just go get my rake and we're sorted. See, anyway, just get them out. Right, it's fairly set. Now what I do is I get this piece of timber and I just try and make a groove. All the way up. There we go. And then sew my first row into there with my shaky dithering hands. And then probably around 3 weeks. In fact, don't do that, man. Let's see if you can just tap them out of the packet. Get these ones in first, sorry. I do my best to try and space them out, but sometimes it's really difficult with seed like this, but they all grow. So these are Autumn King. I'm going to put another row of these in, and then I'm going to try maybe another variety. I know Sweet Candle are good, but I might go for something a little bit more exotic. If you've got any suggestions, leave those in the comments for me. Well, today is Saturday and I'm filming this because it's, as I say, Mothering Sunday tomorrow, and obviously I don't want to be down at the allotment all day on Mother's Day, so I'm getting this video done for you today, and then I'm going to shoot back home later on because, as I say, my wife's going out for a brunch with the girls, so my son-in-laws are watching the children, so I said I'd join them and we'll watch the match in my garden bar. Leeds are playing Swansea today. Sheffield United won last night, so the pressure's back on Leeds. Sorry for you non-sporting folk. Right, let me finish this row and I'll get back to you. Can't believe I've not spilt any yet. Right, so that's all them covered over, and then just simply, there's a couple of weeds in there, simply just cover them up. Before I do that, I better just put a marker where the row starts. So there's nothing like fresh carrot. It's one of the things I do every morning when I come down to the plot in the summertime. I pull a fresh carrot out, give it a wipe, and it's the first thing I eat on a morning, and they're delicious and very nutritious. Right, that's where the row is. Right, better go get my label. Oh. So that's the row labelled and watered in, and as I say, probably around 4 weeks I'll put another row in there. This will just keep the soil a little bit warmer. There we go. So a furry little rat catcher. I might have spied something. He's too busy on the hunt for his breakfast. Right, let's go down and have a look at the guttering. Give me some right grief. Right, so yeah, this guttering, so this side here is sort of the high end, and I'm running it all the way across. But what I wanted was, I wanted both log stores water to run into the IBC. So what I've had to do is bridge it. Now, it were really awkward. So what I've ended up doing is this gutter flies over the top of that one and then drops in to there and goes on its way down to the IBC. Now, I do know that the top, you know, with a bit of wind, it might blow it out. So what we're thinking of doing is simply putting some another piece of guttering on the top of that, and almost just encase, just from that joint to there, almost encasing it, making it like a tunnel. So when the water comes down, it just drops straight in. So that's my thoughts. Anyway, it goes all the way along and it works. And then I've got this pipe system that comes down and drops it all in to the IBC. Now what I need to do is I want this IBC a little bit higher, and I want the IBC at the back. Morning Martin, didn't see you there. The IBC at the back lower. So I'm going to have to empty a little bit of that water out there so we can lift that up, take one of the pallets and drop it into here. Well guys, Martin's turned up, so it's brew time. See you soon. Well folks, that's brought us towards the end of another video. This week I'm hoping, depending on the germination rate on the Super 7 at home, I'm hoping to start and look at getting my tomatoes away, and also the sunflowers. And on that note, it's been very remiss of me. As you all know, I plant some sunflowers. Well, I'm saying you all know. Some of the subscribers that have been with for a while know that I plant some sunflowers, and I try to plant one for each grandchild. So as of last year, I had 11 grandchildren, and we thought that were pretty much going to be it. Thought they've all finished You know, that's it. We've got a full team. We've got an 11-a-side team ready to go, and we thought that were going to be it. But no, Demi, my daughter, surprised us with another grandchild. Not arrived yet, arriving in June, but that will be grandchild number 12. So Demi, who lives over on the farm, is pregnant with her 4th child. Rudy, Ella and Sonny are going to have a brother or sister. So it's going to be 12 sunflowers. I don't know what variety. I think I'd like to just go for a dwarf variety of sunflowers. So if anybody out there knows any dwarf varieties for sunflowers, then please let me know, and I'll see if I can get hold of the seed. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great weekend ahead, and I hope the weather's been kind. I would just like to say thanks to all the subscribers. I've got quite a few, probably about 100 more over the last 2 videos, so I'm really pleased about that, and I do appreciate it. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, the usual blarney, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That let you know when I'm putting up any other content. So from me, have a great weekend, take care, see you next time. Happy growing.